a minute. This is Jamie the Board Game Man. I'm not here to talk about the video game Frogger. I'm here to talk about the board game Frogger. Let's go to the gamer's table and I'll show you how to play. Alright, my friends, welcome to the gamer's table. Here is the Frogger game board. Let me show you the components here. We have a die. It has 1, 2, or 3. Then one side has all hop over, and another one has turn log. So I'll inform you what those mean in just a moment. So you got one die that comes with it. You have 3 frogs, 3 of each color. You got 3 brown and 3 green. Let me show you a little close-up of what the frogs look like here. Let me get them in my hand here. That is what the frogs look like. Alright. And then you put these in these little grooves here. Then you got 2 cars, 1 of each color. 1 green, 1 brown. Here's the little cars. Alright. That's the little cars that come with it. And then you also have 4 logs. 2 of each color. You have 2 brown, 2 green. This is the log side. And this is the fly side. And you're going to put these right at the beginning. So this is pretty much how the beginning setup is. You're going to have 1 car here, 1 car here. You're going to have 3 frogs. You can put these pretty much anywhere you want. I believe the starting is what it shows on the instructions, which are inside the box. So that's a good part. And you can see this is the beginning, how they want you to set it up. So you can see the car and then you see the frogs, like right here. You have the car here and the 3 frogs next to it. You have the car and 3 frogs next to it. And then you have the logs on either side, either other space. That's why I have it set up that way. But the instructions are in the box cover, which is always good. You don't have to worry about losing them. Then you have this little plastic piece that goes underneath and you hook it in. You'll see, let me bring this closer. That way you can kind of see. There are little grooves in the lanes here. These all count for 1 space. So I'll bring it up closer here. You can see the little grooves that are in there. So each one of those is 1 space when it comes to moving your frog around. So I just wanted to show you that. And we'll go from there. So let me go ahead and put these frogs back here. We'll put these frogs back here. And it doesn't matter what color car it is on either side. It really doesn't matter. You're going to put that on the first space there. This goes on the first space here. And then we'll put the logs in the water on the adjacent sides of the colors. And so on. Okay, so that's the setup. So this plastic piece actually comes out, and all you do is just put it in, you kind of hook it in a little bit, and it stays in there. So that's pretty easy setup. It doesn't take very long to set up. And then, obviously, the name of the game here is you're trying to get your frog from one end of the swamp to the other end of the swamp. Now, each space you use is 1 space. They can go forward and sideways. You cannot go diagonally. You cannot go backwards. So, for instance, if I were to roll a 2, I could go 1, 2, and so on, or I can go 1, 2, or you can utilize the one, it's 1, 2, or 3 on the die. You can use in different combinations. So you can move 1 frog 3 space, say if you roll a 3, just for instance, just for example. If you roll a 3, you can move 1 frog 3 spaces, you can move 1 frog, you can move 3 frogs 1 space, or you can move a log, you can move a car, whatever you want to do, it moves as a space. Now, what's interesting about the cars and the logs, if you want to move the car, you can move it anywhere along this highway, and it only costs you 1 space. Okay? Same with the other side. You can do it anywhere you want in that lane. Now, if you want to change lanes, say you want to go in this lane and then move, that would count as 2 spaces. So just from you changing lanes, that counts as 1 space, and then anywhere you want in the highway is another space, so that would count as 2. Same thing with the logs. The logs, you can either move anywhere in this area. That would only cost you 1. It's not like the little grooves where you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and it doesn't go like that. It's the whole length. Okay? That counts as 1 as well. So that's when I was kind of surprised when I saw that. I thought, okay, but the grooves are mainly for the frogs, not the logs, and not for the cars. It's only for the frogs. So I thought that was interesting. That's probably something you can house rule if you want. Just make it a little bit, harder. You can just say, okay, it takes 2, you got to go 1, 2, that kind of thing. I think that would be better, honestly. But that's what the rule says in the box. So we're going to go ahead and do a couple rounds here. I roll dice, all hop over. Now what this means, I guess I rolled this a little too early. Let's go ahead and skip that. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Let's go roll the die again. And of course I roll it again, and I roll it again. My goodness sakes. Okay, 1. So what we're going to do is you're going to move one of these frogs 1 space. So what you can do is you can go 1. Now, either player can move either log, or either player can move either car. So if I were to roll for the green side, I roll a 3, I can actually move this car for 1 move and go boink and knock the frog back to home. I can do that. That would be 1 move. And then I have 2 moves on my end here, so I could go 1, 2, and so on. That would count as 3 moves. 1 for the car and 2 for the frog. So the next player can go, oh, I got a 3. Okay, guess what? I can move this, change lanes 1, boink, knock him 2. He goes back to there, and then he can actually go move one of his frogs 3 for the 3rd move, and so on. You cannot jump over a car, obviously. You have to go around the car if need be. Now, what's interesting about this game is you can actually, when you're a frog, you can actually go in the river and still be alive. If you're on a log, that means you're safe. So that's the same thing with I just showed with you with a car. You do the same thing with a log. If I have one frog here, guess what? Oh, my turn. Aha, goink. And you get brought back to start. All right? So that can happen as well. So it can happen. But if you are on a log, then that means you are safe. And you cannot be knocked off the log. You can move. Your opponent can move the log while your frog is on there. I can move it like over here. I can do that as a move. That is legal. And so on. Now let's go over the turn log. If you roll turn log on the die, what happens is you can turn over any one of these logs. So say you want to turn this log over, you can put the on the fly side. As you can see, each one of these has a fly on it, which you remember from the video game. The bonus you get if you land on a log that has a fly on it, you get to move 2 spaces forward. So say you land here on right here, you can go 1, 2. Now each space on this log is 2 spaces. So if I wanted to move from one side to the other, because remember these little grooves are each side, these constitutes 2 moves on a log. So if I'm over here, but I need to get over one, I can go over 1, 2, 3, and so on. Because you're on one side of the log or the other. You're not in the middle. It has to be one side or the other. So you have to move on one side of the log. That's going to count you as 1 space. Like I said, the grooves are for the frogs. All right. So that is that. Now what happens is, like I showed at the beginning here when I accidentally rolled it like 3 times, all hop over. Now let's say we have a frog over here, and let's see we got a frog here, and let's say we just got a frog here, just to show. All hop over, say the brown player rolled all hop over. All the frogs that are in the playing area, not in the swamps, but in the play area, get to move 2 spaces forward. But the thing is, the player that rolled it gets to move his own frogs and the opponent's frogs. Okay, 2 spaces. So that's the kind of very, very interesting. And then that's when that happens when you roll that. Let's see here. So you can go 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you move this frog, and you can either move them. You can actually move your opponent like in the water or something like that. You go like 1, 2, something like that, and then he'd have to move that frog later on, or you can move, but it's only the frogs that you move when it says all hop over. So all of them move 2 spaces. Okay, so that's how that works, and that's pretty much how the game works. You're pretty much just you can move the cars to become obstacles. You move the logs, but I thought the interesting part, I was talking about the house rule part, is I think it'd be kind of cool. You'd have to land on the logs in order to get through, because in the video game, if you land in the river, you die. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And either you can move either one of these for each space. I think that would be better than just okay, anywhere on here, boom, and same with the logs. Oh, boom, you're dead. So that's a couple little things you could probably do. It makes it a little difficult, but Actually, I think it's more difficult with just sliding it and killing them off every single time. So anyway, that is pretty much how you play the game. You're trying to get all 3 of your frogs from one side of the swamp to the other. And that, my friends, is how you play Frogger.